Brighton has announced a project that could change the way women's football is treated in England and Europe. The idea is to build an arena exclusively for the women's team, designed from the very beginning for the sport, and now we are going to learn about this project, shall we? Hello my friends, the Brighton team has announced a project of their own for women's football with completion scheduled for the 2030/2031 season. The club is going to build a stadium just for them as teams, and we are going to see what this will be like. While we are talking, you can see the images of the project. The announcement draws attention precisely because it is not about adapting an already existing stadium. The proposal is to build a new home designed for the real needs of women's football with a capacity for 10,000 people and with direct connection to Falmouth Stadium where the men's team plays. The link between the two spaces should happen by means of a walkway, creating an integrated sports complex but with its own identity for each team. The club has already purchased the land and is now awaiting approval from the local authorities to begin the construction work. The strongest point of this project is the intention to build something exclusive and not just to share infrastructure with other teams. Brighton wants an arena thought out for the culture of women's football, which includes not only the pitch but also the entire performance environment. This means that the concern goes beyond the stands and the turf. The idea is to consider dressing rooms, recovery spaces, preparation routines, and suitable working conditions for the development of the team. Instead of improvisation, the club wants a custom-made structure. Today, the Brighton women's team plays its matches at Broadfield Stadium, which is located about 35 minutes from the home city. In other words, the move to the new arena also represents a greater closeness to the club's reference center, in addition to a clear improvement in logistics and identity. Having its own stadium next to the men's team's home and strengthen the visibility of the women's team and help to create a routine more integrated into the Brighton universe. It is a change of scenery but also of sporting positioning. This type of investment gains strength because the proposal was presented as unprecedented in England and across the entire European continent. This makes the project even more symbolic. It is not just a new construction, it is a concrete response to an old demand from women's football for specific infrastructure. The club makes it clear with this that the women's team is not being treated as a complement but as a central part of the sporting strategy. The campaign associated with the announcement summarizes this vision well by speaking of an arena made for the girl who was left out, for the girl who did not give up, and for the one who dreamt big. Another important detail is that the club has already assumed the initial stage of the process by acquiring the land. This shows that it is not a loose idea or just marketing. There is a practical path being set up with the project now depending on official approval to advance. The forecast of opening for 2030/2031 suggests a medium-term work which is compatible with the ambition to build something new, complete, and thought out with care from the base. It also indicates that Brighton does not want to rush to open any structure. It wants to create lasting and functional equipment. The design of the stadium also says a lot about the moment of women's football. By choosing a capacity of 10,000 seats, the club seems to seek a balance between intimacy, atmosphere, and the possibility of growth. It is not a gigantic stadium, far from the reality of the team. It is an intermediate-sized home, sufficient to receive the public with comfort and at the same time maintain proximity to the pitch and to the fans. This scale matches a proposal of individual identity without copying models originally thought out for men's football. The physical connection with Falmouth Stadium further reinforces the idea of unity within the club. The two arenas will be side by side, connected by a walkway, which facilitates movement and creates a type of sports campus. But at the same time, the new home of women's football will have its own personality. This separation is important because it recognizes that the sport has specific needs and should be treated with its own attention, not as a reduced version of another structure. The project also carries great symbolic weight for European sport. If it gets off the drawing board as planned, Brighton could become a reference for other clubs that still think about women's football only in terms of adaptation. The initiative shows another path, creating from scratch, thinking about the actual use, the routine of the athletes, and the experience of the public. This could influence other future decisions, especially at a time when women's football is gaining more space and more demand for structural quality. The current situation of the women's team helps to understand why the change is relevant. In addition to playing far from the home city at the moment, Brighton has been having a competitive season, occupying the 6th position of the Women's Super League with a good campaign and presence in important phases of the FA Cup. This sporting context strengthens the project because it shows that the team already has enough relevance to justify an arena designed especially for it. It is not an abstract bet, but a response to a team that already competes for space with solidity. The new Brighton Stadium represents a turnaround in mentality. It was not designed as a luxury but as infrastructure, and here for us, they deserve it. We are going to follow these works, and as we have news, we will bring it to you. Before I go, I am leaving another video on the card. Click and continue with us. Best wishes.